to you is the first open structure system which carries both gravitational magnetic field, shielding, and gravitational, and a control system for a minimum and a maximum, where you can create all the emotions of the man in space if you understand how to encode, how to use and create a plasma. So today, in fact, is your blueprint for a space technology. The space reactors is not something you've seen before, but in so many ways, we showed the beginning of this on the literally closing day of the what I call the summer session in Valletta, where we showed literally a Gantt state of it, which Marco created, and we put it on the table and we showed it. But what you see is prelude to what we've done, and today you can put this as a blueprint for the first spaceship structure reactor. You can manipulate it with different stacks of the reactor, or you can use it as a single individuals, the positioning of it to create both shielding and gravitational, create every level of emotion and food texture and medicine for man in space. What you see is the ultimate structure design, and it's for you as collective scientists to develop it and deliver it.
I can show
Please
you the
also,
picture if you want.
can you go ahead, please? You're from
Yeah.
the space site. Ali is not available. You can go ahead.
Mr. Kesh Ali will come online shortly.
So, do you want to wait for him or do we go?
He said
This,
he'll be on in a second.
I
one
think
second.
we've already gone, anyways.
Pardon?
I
He's
think we're already
gone.
gone. The pictures are already.
Okay.
Let's discuss it.
Is Bernie in the background?
I have a
Has he
different
arrived?
picture if you want to, more bigger one.
Join us. Share knowledge. This is what is being shared with the Space Innovation Group. We explain it step by step with you, and now it's you lot to race for the takeoff. I will go into detail. We have realized the knowledge was getting leaked somewhere, somehow, and it was in the hand of a couple of space agencies which are hacking into our system. We had two choices: to share the knowledge rapidly with you, or leave a couple of nations to go into mayhem of developing it. So now we put it on the table. Every single one of you, if you understand this structure, should be able to understand the totality. Do you have another picture?
Hi, Mr. Kish. This is Ali.
Hi Ali, sorry to wake you up,
No problem.
but you had the innovation on the space side. It's your baby, so we keep respecting according to what it is there.
Thank you.
And we said we are going to show a space reactor and people who can take off and do whatever they like. Is Vernie in the background? Has he woken up yet, or is he about?
Not yet, sir. Not yet, sir.
Ali, you have
Okay.
better picture. You can start sharing if you want.
I got two pictures. Yeah, sure, I can.
Okay, share with us, and then we go in more detail.
Okay, hold on.
Let us see. Well, we don't want to see your screen. So this is the blueprint for a space technology, for a space lift. You have to organize it. You have to feed it. Originally, we showed this as the balls of the GANs in the closing of the Keshe Space Institute for summer by Marco. And now you see a working unit is for you to push it and develop it and finish it. I reckon within next few days or weeks, someone of you will achieve if you understood all the teachings of today and the past. What does it mean? We go through the structure step by step. I need you to do it, that I can go in it. Okay. We need you to close on the side. That's perfect picture. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
If you look, I'm gonna write and then you have to, because you are in control, you have to do it. As I said, we gave the technology to people, and in that process, governments sitting on the Keshe Foundation been downloading all this information which is kept in the secure touch or conference or calls. And so what happened, in them having access to it, we have to share it, that now, as we said, one race, one nation, one planet, all of us do it together. The Russian Space Agency, the Chinese, the Americans, and the rest. Look at the structure. This structure is very important and the location is going to be changed. What I'm going to do, I'm going to call this number 1. I'm going to call this number 2. We're going to call this number 3. The ring A is your magnetical, which creates your shielding. The ring B is your gravitational, which clearly creates and holds to the gravity if you want to increase or reduce. You have to move for the purpose of the lift. You have to move in so many ways. Number 3 to this position. Number 2 to this position. And then number 1 to this position. Your top core is here with number 4. This is your number 4. This is the top of the stack. These cores are the spinal cord. So for the first time, you don't have a coil on its own, and you don't have a core on its own, and the coating, the way you do, will dictate how you create what you create in the center as a plasma of neutron. The 2 rings, which we call here ring, what we call 1 and 2, these are controllers of 1, fixing the magnetical strength, 2, fixing the gravitational strength. That the body of the man can exist within these 2 boundaries, that you never in a way lose the structure of the man, be it emotional or physical. But you can control the lift, direction of motion. And one of the first things, as I explained to a lot of what we discussed in the private teaching, is that you will find these coils will start rotating in a very funny way without you even doing anything. So if you look at the structure, and if you remember your coil combination, this is your core number 1, 2, and 3, and this is your core number 4. As I said, we had to release this information today or by Thursday, because number of security services were sitting in the background with our teaching. So the technology was becoming exclusive, who can make the first lift and whatever to dominate. Now nobody dominates. This is the true blueprint of your spaceship. Is Vernier in the background? Has he arrived yet?
I don't see him in the participants yet.
Brennan, can you get in touch with him? Can you raise him anywhere? Because most of these pictures, these are real coils made in September last year. We were ready to show flight system 4 or 5 months ago, but the position and the condition was not ready. Now it is ready. Now we can explain, and a lot of you should be able to target for lift if you understand the coating and everything else. What in fact happens is the 3 base will create exact shape as we said, and this will make you the bottom of your space and the top will do. A lot of you have seen these coils, what I call the coils on A and B, especially on A, you have seen these. You have seen their operation. When you come into the flight condition system, if you have seen in a space where you see a flashing light continuously rotating in what you call the spaceship, comes from these reactors. They float and they space themselves in a constant position from each other and they rotate. That's why you see in what we call spaceships, a rotating light continuously going around the spaceship. Now you see the mother of the source. In this combination of reactors, you can create any gravitational magnetic field you like, and so you can create any matter you like. Because now you can dictate the gravitational field and you can dictate the magnetical. Or you can add into the magnetical and gravitational what you like. So creation of matter in space become very simple. You have to understand a simple structure. Oh, sorry, I'm teaching. Can you call back later? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
That's no problem. So you understand the structure. Now with this, you can produce materials because you dictate the minimum gravitational or maximum magnetical, the shielding for your space. You can create a condition with different coating on your nanomaterials by the GaNs that you can create multi-shielding. So you can dictate your position from, and you can dictate your protection from. This is the blueprint for the first spaceship technology. These, what you look as coils. Is Arman online? He's arrived in the United States this morning.
Yes,
Arman, are you online?
yes. Yes, Mr.
Arman, you build these coils. Can you show it to us? But don't forget that these coils are double winded. They have a magnetical and gravitational coil on top of each other. It's not a single coil. Have you got this video or is it redundant? Vernie,
I don't have it with me, Mr. Kish.
we cannot show it. We have to wait till when it comes, or we go over this again on Thursday morning teaching.
I made another coil, but it has a triple version. I can show you that one. It might be easier
If you could go, please. You can share a screen,
Okay.
please. Chat.
Okay, let me clear the drawings if you can. Okay. And then we go here.
We don't need to see your desktop.
So-
We see all your programs.
No, there's no. So this is a triple core that I made today. It has one inside and two outside, but the other design has only two. And since we
Why
opened
have
it,
you made 3?
because I felt that there is one missing, I had to add another one, and it's alive, like it has a consciousness. And there's like one neutron, one like there's one positive, one male, one female, and one is neither male or female. One is balanced in the middle. But the interaction of all 3 will create it's like in human Merkaba, you got actually 2 tetrahedrons, and one is in the middle, which doesn't move. So I was trying to replicate the human energetic field. These are cut at a specific length. The inner coil has is a sacred cubit length, which is the ancient Egyptian length. The Egyptians built all the pyramids in Giza and in sacred sites based on the sacred cubit. That's why the pyramids are the most ancient structures on the planet, and they are the most stable, and they have been here for thousands and thousands of years. So if you have a wire, let me annotate here. So if you have a wire, make sure you cut it by the inner coil. I did it by 20.6 inches. Then you get the middle one. It has to be a multiplication of this number. And the inner one is 20.6 by 1.5. So you multiply that. And the last one, the bigger one in the outer, is 20.6 inch multiplied by 2. And so each, like this coil, there is within it has a star formation, everything inside, because the interaction of the coil outside and the inner coil, and there's another coil inside, and you got the element, the hydrogen inside. All 3 create an infinite kind of a star formation, and there's millions and millions of these at the atomic level present in the coils. Interestingly, when you create the structure, it has a consciousness of its own, so it will begin communicating with you, and you'll understand it at a really deep level. And these are like tuning forks of the universe. So when you cut, let's say, a coil at this specific length, it's like a tuning fork, and it resonates at a specific frequency. And that's why when you have, like, let's say, pyramids like this, and every block of the pyramid, let's put another one here, all the lengths are all these lengths are the multiplication of the 20.6, or the sacred cubit length, which in ancient Egypt they had they have these rods that are in the museums, and they're exactly cut as this, and they use it for, different applications, for their building or any artifacts or stuff like that. It was really, really important. And this resonates at the frequency of light. If you cut a wire at this length, and it's at 144,000 hertz.
Let me stop you there.
Okay.
There's a reason, and I'll explain something. If you go back to the original reactors which were built and further developed in Belgium and in Iran, we have kept to this figure at 21 centimeter. Just below 21 centimeter is the ratio. If you go back in most of the teaching, is 21 centimeter is the distance of the travel of the alpha radiation to full decay of the energy deliverance. That's why we use alpha radiation in our reactors. So the point of 20.6, or what we call 21 centimeter, has been always kept to in the design of all the initial reactors. So it does not necessarily need to be inches, it's the ratio that is kept in all processes. 20.6 centimeters is the same, 20.6 millimeter is the same, and this is, we round figure of about 21 centimeter has been kept. So you can see what you're trying to explain and what we have used without explaining it, and now comes to in light. And it's been, even is one of the patents has about 21 centimeter. And in one of the original papers, we explained this very simply. So it's not necessarily to be in inches, but is the ratio of when something is kept as its own, which is about 21 centimeter.
Yeah, it's either multiplication or divisions of that ratio, which is,
Yes.
yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't need to be inches, you will get the same results, and this is how we have kept in most of the designs, which all the original reactors has been kept to. Carry on.
Yeah, so this is, if you have three wires, one would, basically you'll get the same thing, but you can actually, like my goal is to make the system as simple as possible and condense everything into even one, one small reactor, if done correctly, can achieve the same thing. So, and I was wondering, what is your thought on the triple core, Mr. Kish, as well?
The point is not triple or double. You can do the same thing with a single coil, where the coating, the GaNs coating will give you the same. Go back into most of the teaching. We explained that the physical structure of the copper is to be able to manipulate the shape of the GaNs or the plasma. So you can do the same thing with a single core or a double core or a triple core. But now that we got to the stage of ultimate lift and creation of the structure, we have to understand there needs to be more precision in development. Needs to be more precision in structure of the coils. Cannot be random so much. Then somebody asked what is the green and blue. That's 20.6 times 1.5, 20.6 times 2 is the outer core. The inside is 20.6, so one is 1.5 of it and the other one is the double. And if you structure it the right way, a lot can be explained. Carry on. If when you finish, let me know. We add to the knowledge which we are teaching in the background, please.
Okay.
Carry on.
So let me clear this and go back to the main structure here. And did we talk about the hydrogen process that the hydrogen has to go in?
Yes. Sorry you were asleep.
No, that's okay. Okay, so you covered a lot of things. Unless you want me to add any like new teachings from my last week teaching, you can carry on, because I think you have covered a lot of a lot of the grounds, and we have to make
Okay.
sure
Let-
we got to put amino acids here. Amino acids, the one that you get from the top of the seawater. These two should have it because that would help
Not
you
the seawater, other CO2 water.
from
Make
the
sure
sea.
the number of courses. Let me add, because you've gone that way, you've got to add something to the knowledge. First of all, for building these cores, please use fire method. It is important that we understand. Please use fire method, not caustic method, to create nanomaterials on all your rings, all your nanomaterials. Even you see here tubes, plastics tubes, these are all nano-coated, that we have no matter state. The use of the amino acid on the coils is essential because that gives the minimum maximum gravitational field of your system, which means amino acid is what is the body of the man needs, and it cannot go below it to destroy it or above it to dissolve it. There is something which is important, and in the teachings I have raised, and now we can add to the knowledge, is that if you look at this coil here, and if you look at this coil here, you will understand to you, or it looks like to you, that in so many ways the fields are leaving on this way and the fields should enter this way. And as you see this, I presume your thinking is the same way, that the fields, for example, are coming out of this way and the fields are going in this way. In fact, this is totally wrong. I read you what I wrote to the Innovation Center with the Space Center sometime this week. If I can find it, I'll read it for you, because now it's important for everybody to understand this. In this part, you can record it, but listen to it, and then if I can bring it up, God knows where it is. There's too much discussion going on here in the background. We try to bring it in. I'll read it for you because it's easier to read it. It's one of the part of the teaching. It reads as follows. I think we can add to the knowledge. If you look at the GANs is and behaves and operates like a plasma in matter state, but it behaves as crystal in its own dimension. Nanomaterials are matter state of the element, and GANs is the crystal or graphene of the same in latter state. Just before nano layer is becoming GANs first, it becomes graphene or its own crystal structure, and it stays in that state, and in the new free GANs state in and become crystal in the new environment. GANs is the fifth state of matter of interaction and operation in the fifth state. You may now understand where the man is led to by our teachings. The state of self inner peace, blessed, and it goes on. I teach you, there is another part of teaching which I cannot find it, which is important in regarding about the plasma. And in a way, what we explain is that in the plasma state, a lot of you consider, as I've drawn, the flow of the plasma in one pole to another. But in fact, the flow of the plasma is in all directions in and out. What does this mean? Is that you have assumed that fields go out as are shown in the green and come in the red. Uh, in reality is that in all directions fields go in and out, and in the strength of the environment which decides the polarity. It's not that the Earth continuously receives from the South Pole and releases only. The same fields enter and exit from South Pole and every other points on this planet. Otherwise, it would have been heavier at the bottom and lighter on the top. And this is not so. So I'll read you another piece which has gone to the spaceship team. It says, I think it is better to connect all 12 cores together in the boundary and the 6 in gravitational unit. You get control of your system. Note that even these 18 cores look as being having their entry and exit to be on horizontal level to the main star formation. In fact, they are still bottom to top field flow entities as the star formation set. This is important to remember as I teach you something totally new, and this is going to blow your minds out. I hope you are ready for this, and this will cause a number of you to go into total confusion. The real truth is that no one has ever told you in the world of plasma is that as much field enters each pole as they exit. We have no entry and exit, but we have both entry and exit from both, and in fact from all over places of any plasma, even Earth. This should now solve the problem why man has never understood the work of the plasma. Now, if you understand this, you should understand is you who decides that which side or end become the more entry or exit. As I said, little comment says, oh guys, now you're in trouble. Or on the other hand, now you understand why mankind has been so behind in the work of the universe. This is very important. This is absolutely vital, because what happened, any of these reactors, as they are rotating, you think, they become pole revolutionized. So even the cores look to be moving in this direction. In fact, their field is in this direction. And in setting up a system, you will understand your cores can change, field strength change, so the game changes. One thing which is important you will understand, you've got to follow, is that your what we call 1, 2, and 3, they will be sitting on the base of the setup, and number 4, which is here, moves up. Your ring core here has to be just below, just below here, and your magnetical has to be here. We are looking at the height position. If you look at it, you have 3, if I can do like 3 reactors. Your gravitational system, your gravitational ring, your gravitational ring should be sitting here. And your magnetical ring should be sitting somewhere here. And your core number 4 should be somewhere just here, where the gravitational field feeds into and the magnetic coil feed into, and the system closes itself as what you see spaceship. This is the full design blueprint for any space reactor system which you want to try. Don't forget, these coils like 1, 2, or 3 can be in a stacker condition as you created. You don't need to throw anything away. But understand the position, where they have to be positioned. You keep your gravitational ring within the structure of the cores, you keep your magnetical outside. Because you control the magnetical here, and you control the gravitational here. This combination gives you every element which man needs to create in space. And then, as I said, you decide, on this side I want aluminium, and this side I want plutonium. On this side, which is lighter, I would like hydrogen here. Or I want gold there. Because it's at the boundaries which you can create most of your thing. If you want to look at it, I'll show you something very interesting. This can make, if you know how to do it, let's say a structure that on these places you have solid, and you can create the solid you want, and in these parts you create liquids. If you see it, is the structure of the Earth. Minimum and maximum. Then you decide what hydrogens and gases you want to create here. To continuous the operation of the amino acid. It's the structure of the planet Earth. As I said, we wanted to keep this till we show you a full flight. The innovation team and the space team were put together this week to achieve this flight's probation. This is more or less the ultimate till you find out how you can control the system with your thoughts. But as we were informed by our security people, a couple of national governments sitting in the background, they thought they got the clue, they started running, so we all run together. This would have been released maybe in a month or two, but once we start explaining it, disclosing it, those are who are very sitting inside the foundation, receive the information and is not correct. So we all have it now. This is, you have to lift the whole structure up 3 base, and then you can expand anything up to 200 to 300 meter diameter with this system. Control is in your hand, and in a way, if you look at it, if I can get it, can you clean up the structure behind? I'll show you what happens. You have the 3 fields here and the fields here. Okay, you have these 3 fields here and the fields here. This gives you the tangibility of the surface of your crafts at the bottom. And the other one is you have the top and you have the others. You have in this structure a section which is from the interaction of the fields of totality, somewhere here, which is the emotion and control part of the whole spaceship. And this is where you sit your, what I call, pilots. If you understand and if you can connect, follow the procedure, explain in a specific way, someone of you should be able to show a full controlling flight system. Should take you not more than a few days, maybe a week, 2 weeks. But now this is more important. This is your flight system. Control and everything else. We showed originally this part, this was shown months ago. because I knew sooner or later we'll come to this point to do the flight. Marco built this, but instead of the coils, he used the cores with the GANs inside. You've seen the rings. These are the control system. In your system on the flat, you can decide which you want and what material you want to create. And in so many ways, using the combination of the two, if you look at it, all three, in any shape or form, you can dictate the direction of your flight. Man is ready to take into space. There is no reason not to be able, but you always remember you have to connect your bases and your center. You have to develop energy resources, which is continuous, and in so many ways, you can use what I call a GANS material as your reserve tank here in the middle. In totality, this is your blueprint. In totality, we can close all the teachings today and wait till one of you will come up and show up, or one of the governmental space technology centers will deliver the technology. The system is complete. You have to develop different versions of it. If you look here, you don't have a solid body anymore. The springs should be open enough that it's transparent system that the fields can dictate their own condition and position. You do not need to use a plastic the way it's done here. You can still use the spring coils. Or if you can create a nice balance, you can connect the gravitational one end to another and magnetical of the other. So it creates a field flow. You have a very basic fundamental transportation to space. We'll go through this again on Thursday because we have more people that they come in, will extend by it. You can create the fields here that you work on the emotion, strength of the man, and you can work to keep your passengers always happy that the time is relevant. Because even the time in essence of man is magnetic field strength dependent. It doesn't exist. We have a measure of strength in our brains. I slept 3 hours, it's past 10 minutes. So if we can measure minutes, it means we have created in our subconscious, in our strength level of the emotion part of the body of the man, a measuring tools in respect to all the emotions, and then that is what we need to satisfy. So if we satisfy, universe is timeless. Any questions?
How are the coils connected?
You decide.
So they don't need to be connected at all?
If you can create a field and you can hold them on, they don't fly off, not really, but in a way you have to.
Okay, and how many turns to the big?
We are not going into these. We are not going into these. You decide yourself.
Okay.
We are not going into the games of the past. We learn very well. The left hand, right hand, how many turns. You build according to what you feel. Ali told you, he feels he wanted to put a third one in. Try.
Sounds good.
You're welcome.
I wish I can talk.
Any other?
I wish I can talk and share.
Who's that on the background?
Me? Oh, can you hear me?
Who's that?
Kosal?
Kosal had his microphone
I
Yes,
want-
as long as you teach us something correct, I'll let you stay online.
Yes, I want
Okay.
to share something
It
important.
has, let me explain to you.
Yes, sir.
It has to be connected to our teaching and it has to make sense.
Yes, it
Okay.
is connected.
Okay.
Very much. But I have to show it. I can't explain it. That's why I need your help because it is surprising to me. Can I show it, sir?
I think Ali is sharing. He has to come
I
up.
can
I
stop
can't
it
even
now.
mute.
Sure, I'll stop my sharing and.
Yeah, I can't even mute my system. Somehow I've lost the mute. I cannot control anything here. Oh yeah, it's okay now. Back. Okay, you can share.
Okay. How do I share video? Okay. You can't start
Okay,
your
just,
video because the host stopped it.
Okay, just a second. We'll get that sorted out here.
Start my video.
There you go.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Just
Hi,
a
Mr.
There we go.
says-
You're sideways. Your picture's
Okay.
sideways.
Like this?
Yes, that's better.
Okay. I discovered something. It's like that's why I need your help to explain. This is my system is the Maggraph plasma cube and it's wireless. I supposed to connect the wire in series parallel, but then I found out it start to produce energy, plasmatic electricity, and it start connecting to each other without any wire connection. I only connected to the gravitational coil, and gravitational and magnet coil to how should I say this? Just this one only, see? So and then this the magnetic to this side, but it's not connecting to anything else, but it's already working and it's already communicating with me. And I can put a voltmeter or something, and then it will show electrical energy and amps. See, there is no look. You can see closely. Everything I learned is from you. How I fold everything, and this is the Alex battery capacitor plasma put into a ring. This is my hot glue to hold it, but there is no connection to each other physically, but they are connected to each other in it's a complete circuit, but there is for plasma wise, but physically there's not a complete circuit. And it's working already. It's two of them, and they you can feel the feel. It's and it has different personality, and this is the part that go with it. You see, sir? Everything is looped into each other.
You see, when you create a plasmatic battery capacitor, you already have created an energy source. So it's not that there is no energy with nothing else. You have a plasma battery which is loading or working through the system. It's you who's got to decide, or you can absorb how much energy you release or you get from it. It's important to understand something very, very important. I explained this in the communication recently, past couple of days with somebody. When you measure a voltage of, let's say, half a volt up and down, plus or minus, that's in the electron vibration. It's literally at the waste end, the slowest part. So in fact, you're creating a massive plasmatic energy that when it comes to the matter state, the fragments at the bottom of it, you can still measure voltage and current in it. So when you put these plasma batteries together, when you put these plasma GaNs batteries capacitors, you have created the energy source, a plasmatic energy source. And so you can't say that it's not there. And because you created the coil, inside the coil in the center, You have created a plasma, and this plasma communicates with other plasma. Is understanding what you're doing, and then you see how you can manipulate, use it for the other things. In the Gantt state of the matter, you can do the same. You can decide as a resources in the center of the system where to put a source, a Gantt source, as an energy source. Or in a coming time, I teach you something else. Could you stop your system, please? Could you
Yes,
stop
sir.
sharing?
Stopping now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
How do I
So
start
what
now?
is it?
Okay.
So one thing which was gonna go to expand on is that you have to nano code everything which is in there. If the you use a platform, somewhere between the 3 base and the top and your gravitational and magnetical ring, or whatever way you put it, this somewhere here you need the energy resource. This is where you can absorb a lot of energy and hold on. Or you can put a nano coated tube, or a ball I should say, where you fill up with a mixture of gases. You put CO2, CH3, whatever you have here, you store it here in a ball. You do not need to connect it to nothing. You don't need to connect it to anything at all. But when your coils or when your core need, they connect to as they need it. It's very much like a liver in a human body. On the other hand, in a space, you can create a zone where fields from the space of the universe can come in and you can store it. What they call free plasma zones. If in part of a space you don't have a given energy for amino acid strength, plasma is already in here, it's stored. Does not need connection.
So it's self-sufficient, sir?
More or less at this moment of time, yes.
Oh, wow. And the plasma
Then
electricity? So we call it
pardon?
plasmatic electricity, sir? We don't call
Is
it
a
electromagnetic.
plasmatic current, no electricity. It's a current flow between the plasmas and gravitational and magnetic.
So
If
it's
you
real.
want to go, yes, it's a transformation without connection. So you can do this, but you got to realize again, make sure your container is nano-coated on both sides, that your GANs is in a floating condition and it can give and take above your container.
Oh, thank you so much, sir, for enlightenment, because I was surprised. I was planning to connect it zero pair little, but then I saw it to work and I said, I need Mr. Cash to enlighten me. And thank you, sir, for your enlightenment. So can other do this too, or just only me doing it?
No, nothing is for you. Nothing here is exclusive. It's the knowledge that people need to carry with them. And in a bigger sense, if you even understood the double coil where you create a plasma, you don't even need a container. You can make a containment that you can hold on to the energy plasmatic condition for any levels of the use in space.
And
So
it also communicate that I'll have this two box is the same design, but they have different
everything,
personality.
is not matter of communication. The matter is you have a box with a coil which has created the plasma, and you have another box which you have put the power in it. So these two create their own fields. Communicate. You can take this one to the others or make another one on the other side of the earth. If you have it, they connect to each other. It's not that they communicate.
Zero communic. What you told me last time? Zero space or zero time something
It
communication.
is instantaneous. It's an instantaneous connection. You'll find out when you have your 12 coils. This is how they will start. This is how they will balance each other.
Like a neural not a neural network, a plasma neural network.
More or less.
Okay, like the planet around the sun. Yes. Okay.
Okay. Any other question?
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightenment. You are such a blessing.
Can you hear me?
Thank you very much. Pardon?
This is Miguel Moreno. Can you hear me?
Yes, but you got to speak a little bit louder.
Yeah. I want to talk with the topic about the cube. I am working with nanocoding the coils. Maybe I'm gonna have a running the cube in maybe 2 weeks. Can I share about what I'm making?
If it is related to today's teaching, yes.
Yeah. Hold on.
I'll stop sharing. Yes.
Okay. Let me check it out.
It says your network bandwidth is low.
Okay.
I think that's yours, Mr. Cash.
Is it? Oh my God. Can you share with us what you're trying to show us?
Yeah, I yeah.
Your video's on, Miguel. Maybe it's the wrong video.
Yeah, then I can.
We see you on the camera.
Okay, let me move the camera. Okay, so this is part of the cube that I making.
I think you have to change your sound to the microphone is on your laptop.
No, the microphone is already in the micro device.
Then you need to turn up the audio settings, perhaps in the Zoom preferences.
Okay.
And you can share your screen as well, because it would be better than sharing through the video.
Yeah, let me try them. Hold on.
While Miguel is trying to explain to us, we go back on the teachings. You're a Spanish group. You have a large number of Spanish. Can you please get together and organize a teaching program for the Spanish community? It can be on a 9 to 5 basis, or you can do it 3 hours or 6 hours a week that we can learn and you can teach to the Spanish community. We need a Spanish speaking teachers who understood the technology, that they can come in and start a teaching of the Spanish community on a 9 to 5 basis, the same as what we do in the English and the Chinese versions and the Italians.
Okay,
For
so
those Italians who listen, I have to inform you that Giovanni has brought in a highly competent scientist, doctors and professors, to be as part of your teaching classes when it starts in March. So when you go on Thursday to enroll, you pick up the Italian session. All the teachings are in total Italian. So everything will be taught absolutely in Italian language, unless somebody comes in and asks for a translation for something in the middle, that this should be able to be done. We see something. Can you explain to us, please?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm having problem with the computer. So sorry.
Do you want to set it up together and come back on Thursday?
Okay, I will do it.
Okay, do it properly. It looks you've done a very nice job. At least let's do it properly. That we appreciate your work.
Okay.
So we'll see you on Thursday morning.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Just try to make it like a PDF file, and that you can put it together and you can explain to us and we follow you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for coming on. Any other question? You have to stop sharing that we can take charge. Can you go and stop sharing, please?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Thank you very much. Okay, any other questions?
Well,
Depends what you want to do with it. The freedom is yours. You decide what you want to do.
I have a question.
Who was that? Song King?
Yes, I had a quick question. I've been trying to get wire. Someone donated wire to me, but it turned out to be copper coated steel. Can I use it for anything, pins or any of the devices?
Maybe yes. If you want to make blood, why not? You can connect it directly, run it for a while till the CO2 is built, and then connect it to when it gets to the wire end. If you use a zinc oxide on it, when it gets to the wire end, then you start creating a very reddish material, which is hemoglobin. And then yes, it's the easy way, it's a fantastic way actually to produce hemoglobin.
Can I twist it like for health pans, you're saying, or use it for GANs?
You can use it both. It depends what you want to do with it. You decide. It's
Okay.
nothing. It just depends how you manipulate it, or how, what condition, what environment.
Oh my.
sorry, we had to mute everyone there. Okay, we can hear you, Mr. Kesh. Go ahead.
Yes, I can hear. I just noticed. Yeah, all depends what you want to do with it and how you can manipulate it or create an environment for it to get what you need.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Kesh?
Pardon, yes, Mr. Ahmed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The cores that spiral cores. I just made one. If I can show.
Yes.
This one.
We need what? Okay, that's perfect.
Okay. So its diameter, it has to be 21. The bigger core, and inside it has to be 20.
What do you mean by that?
As Ali explained.
Yeah.
So the size, it has to be 21 diameter.
No, he speaks about the length of his wire when he changes it to a rotational unit or to a core. But originally, the 21 is It's a very important figure in the field of the radiation and atomic structure transfer of energy as radiation. It has a huge significance in the world of nuclear technology.
Okay.
It's the distance which certain radiations can be effective according to the medium they're traveling into, and it's a more or less the backbone of the development of the space reactors. 21 centimeter. If you remember, always we make the
Yes.
reactors 21, 22 centimeter, and that's for that reason.
Okay, but one more thing. Do we have to leave extra wire on top, or we just have to cut it? Because inside, when you
can do
insert,
what you like with it. You can do what you like with it. You can, because then it has to have a point of entry and exit. We've seen that Ali has used 3 to bring emotion into it, but you can't do it without. It depends on the layers of the material you use. You can do with 1 coil, but coat it in the way that it gives you the 3 layers.
okay, coated with the GANs actually.
Different ganses, yeah.
Okay,
If
thank
you
you.
work the right way and coat it the right way, your single coils should be able to give you the physicality anyway to start with.
Question for Armin, because you worked on these coils before. What is the best way to basically turn them around so everything is uniform? And
Before we go any further, is Jeff DuPont online in the back? Armanjan, can you wait 1 second, please? Is Jeff DuPont on the line? Can we see him anywhere? Can you promote him if he's anywhere?
Look in here, Mr. Cash.
No, but the reason I ask you, is he there?
Not seeing him.
No. Maybe he'll be there on Thursday. Jeff has released a system for manufacturing coils, different kind of coils, and nano coating it at the same time with the gas. I wondered, we should remember to ask him, or somebody can ask him in the background if they're in touch with him. Can he make the spiral, flat spiral, that it can open up to, as we see, a spherical spiral system? Is that in part of the program he's developed, that we can produce flatter spirals? Okay, carry on, Marvin. This is what we wanted to know. As you know, you can now buy the machine. You can go to the Keshe Foundation website. I think we've received the initial order for it. Initial orders, I don't know. I've received the note that they've received our order. You can actually buy a coil making machine manufactured in Canada by Jeff DuPont. And for those of you who want to know, it takes about a couple of weeks for him to produce each unit before it's shipped. So the unit is on sale on the Keshe Foundation website. Carry on, Arman. Show us how you do it, please.
Yeah, 1 minute. If you can carry on, I will make it and I will show it, Mr. Cash.
Okay, no problem. Is Renan still there, or is Vernie has joined us?
Sir, we already went to Vernie's house, and I think he's already asleep.
Oh, what's the time?
It's 11:30 p.m.
11:30 p.m. Ah, okay. Sweet dreams. We'll see him on Monday, on Thursday.
Yes, actually.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Renan. These cores, as is going to be shown, is and will be initial stages, the backbone of the reactors for time being, till we learn more, and then we go to another phase of plasma without boundaries. And you will understand that how the system will create these boundary reactors and the reactor themselves according to the field strength. But it gives the man the first step to create the first spaceship with a full control, the protection and gravitational. Is Marco online? Do you see Marco?
No, I don't see him
Don't
here
see
either.
Marco.
No. Okay. Do you
Uh,
have a picture? Pardon?
Go ahead.
Do we see any pictures of the original one shown as a reserve tanks made by Marco in the last teachings, in one of the last teachings in, or the first teaching in Valletta? On the opening of the Valletta, we showed the initial unit of it as a plasma cores. Do you have access to it?
Rick, what knowledge seeker would that be?
Hmm.
Oh, it's Richard.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to dig through some of the earlier pictures here. That's a ways back.
Richard made the original pictures. Richard should have them.
Richard?
Yeah, he was there in Valletta, I think.
That's what I'm asking. Richard, do you have those?
What pictures are you looking for?
Hello, Richard. You're awake? The
Barely.
picture of it's too late in Holland. Do you have the picture of the 12 orange ball, yellowish orange balls on the table? Is anybody in the center in
I will
Valletta?
check.
Is
Yeah,
it
I
lab?
think so.
Pardon?
Yeah, I have those pictures. Just a sec.
Yeah, if there's anybody in the Valletta in the lab, they can bring it out and show it live.
I think Rick needs a new mouse pad.
Yes, I was just aware of that.
Is that what you're talking about, Mr. Cat? Did we lose Mr. Kesh?
I'm not hearing you, Mr. Kesh.
Yes, if you can hear me, I'm here.
Yeah.
This is the, yeah, I put myself on mute not to make noise in the background. This is the initial shape or system which was made by Marco. These are on electric fans in a way, what do you call it, computer cooling fan system. You see this very closely. So we have repeated the process again. This is the future version. This is the, in so many ways, if you can separate it and place it, if you look position wise, if I can go to this, I can show you. If you look, these are positioned to be in the same places that we discussed. This goes there, and this comes there, and these are filled in with the gases. Marco spent a long time to produce this. So we can go strengthening to produce any material we need, or creating and reducing gravitational to make isotopes and all kind of materials. This is the gravitational system control here. This is magnetical system control, the minimum and the maximum. In these gases, if Marco was here, would have told us what he filled in if he's remembering. You can connect any gravitational to any magnetical, or magnetical to any gravitational in the center. So this, which is what I was explaining. A number of people are on the verge and have developed a spacelift, but they are more or less about around the same. So this was on the table in more or less last year, and the last day or the closing of the Spaceship Institute for summer holiday. We've seen another version of it with Random, which does away with the other balls, because now we create a free plasma section. And now you see we are on the same course. We are about, some people when they saw this structure in September, they start working on it, or in last, what do you call it, July. And those people have already achieved lift and the creation of the star formation. Some of you will grasp or have grasped the idea very quickly, but in these systems we had a blowout because the energy is so much that it literally blows itself up, the lines. You have to be very careful. There is no water contamination and the rest, but these can be done in a simple way. The balls will start rolling, or as you have the spiral course. If you look at this and go back on the first pictures which were released earlier on, which was made with the Spaceship Innovation Group, you see there is very much exactly the same. As I told you, I have taught you and I put it so in front that you don't understand it and you just ignore it. Now you see the flight system has been on display for nearly 8 months. And it took Marco at least 2 months to build this one, at least a month to build this. The knowledge is so open, so complete, it's for you to complete it yourself. And if you understood this and you can position this the right way, the right rotation, the right material input, the system will just create its own gravitational magnetic field. This white plastic here has to be nano-coated. The plastic underneath has to be nano-coated. And then they have to be free. You'll find out your reactors will find their own position, and then you see the flight. This is the green, what I call the blueprint reactor system control. And it's more or less for the nations and the governments, or individuals like a lot of you who are well rehearsed, understand the technology, to start showing the first lift system. You can use the stacker unit instead of the 5 bolts. You can use the structure which Ali is using. You can use understanding of the totality of everything together, and you'll achieve your lift and creation of space technology. I have given the innovation and spaces unit what I call a request that by mid-March we should be able to fly. So understand it, apply it correctly, remember the way you have to quote it. All of you, every single one of you will have a full flight system in hand. It has to be precise. Everything has to be very precise. It's not nitty-gritty anymore. We advise not to use caustic for coating. We advise heat transfer by burning, because then it's homogeneous. You have no other elements that when you decide. I advise you when you're producing, can I have my screen share, please? Share. When you are making your systems, when you are producing your nano coating, use fire only. When you're producing your CO2 GANs, do not put your plates inside. create a system that you can put copper oxide nano-coated and the zinc, that the gas you produce here is a pure CO2. When you place your system, you want to produce zinc only, zinc nanoplate, you put your copper nano-coated here and the zinc inside. This is important. From now on, precision counts, and those of you who understand it will achieve it. When you're using copper oxide, make sure your copper oxide is of the specific at every time across your use of production. When you are using a system to produce protein, make sure your protein is created by this condition, not by zinc inside it. You only use a protein which is pure, and that is when you place the plate outside. To find this gap, to create this condition that you start getting gas, is not very easy. One of the ways I've done before is I use a plastic bags, where I can thinner the bag, I can increase the bag, but I stick the nano coated and the zinc on the bag. So by changing the size, you bring the proximity closer or whatever, and then you suddenly see you produce a lot of CO2, and in some places you produce a lot of what I call amino acid. As I said, firing is the most important way to do it. Creating nanomaterial is the most important thing to do it. Those of you who you've been looking for a pure CO2, especially for health reason, explore this. And it's so easy to make CO2. Do not use seawater. Under no circumstances, any of your trials, use seawater. Because you don't know what is the content of the seawater you're using. It has everything which is on this planet. Any other question?
Milena had a question regarding the pilot and something about flight that way.
Yes, I was about to ask actually. Thank you, Rick. Hi, Mr. Kesh.
Yes, hello.
Hi. Yes, I just want to say I'm very grateful for all the beautiful, mind-blowing shares today and all this this technology and the blueprints. I was wondering if you could extrapolate a little bit more on the positioning of the pilot position and a little bit more about how we control from that position once we create this.
Once you created this, you have to understand, as we went into the process of explanation of the teaching, in the private teaching, I think you were in that course as well, or was it the other side, where I explained the different layers of the inner structure of the brain without the physicality. Rick, can we go into the picture of the cross-section of the brain? You know which one I'm talking about, we used in that teaching? Okay, please.
Okay, so you're saying, so we sit, I'm kind of thinking a little bit more on the physical right now, but you said that you sit in front of it. Is that what you had said today? I missed that part when you were talking about that.
About what?
I missed when you said where you sit, the pilot position sits in front of it, or I'm just curious.
You got to sit in a given specific environment, which is the non-dimensional emotional part. We have spoken about this quite often. When you have a star formation, you create a environment in certain given areas, which is what we call the free plasma. But in this free plasma is where the emotional part of the system interacts with everything else. So your pilot has to be in that environment. That's the seat of the pilot.
Okay. Yeah.
Because then he can control in everything through thoughts and not through physical control. Physical control doesn't exist. It's too fast.
Okay. All right. Got it. All right.
You
Thank
have to understand something when we speak with a flight in these conditions. When you have a totality of these fields together, which gives the condition of the control of the emotion of the man, and you have connected it to the space system, so your system subconsciously creates that all these are satisfied and kept in order. So your system already through its position dictates what it receives that it needs for its survival, and it blocks, it creates the reactors to create a field strength that blocks anything or gives a minimum maximum to the structure of the rings. You will see this very soon.
Okay. Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. Have you managed to find that, Rick? We're coming to about 5 o'clock. We can carry on. Yes, yes, in a way, yes, you're perfectly there. That creamish stuff in the middle, which has a name in the world of the scientists, this is in fact where, can you zoom into it? This cavity there where the arrow sits is where all the control of the human body on the emotional side sits. I'm trying to explain to you this for those of you who are medical, understand this maybe for the first time. These layers here are the layers of your emotion. That's why it sits on the top. Immediately can transfer every emotion that through it, this filter here filters the emotional level to the physical level that it can cast and be controlled and transferred in the dimension. This is the filtering from the emotional magnetic field, gravitational strength of the brain to the physical part of the brain. And that's why it works as two halves and exactly what we see two of them. But this is one of the jobs of this place. It's a filtering in respect, if you look at it, and look at the structure of the brain itself and everything else, is not very far from this side and this side. It's a point of the separation and filtering, and that's all you need because it radiates directly to every part, changing the emotional gravitational magnetic field to the physical part. Maybe some doctors will understand soon exactly what they're going to do with this. Any other question, or we call it a day? We come back on Thursday. Please go back on the teaching today. With this today is, we announced to you some time ago, we are going to bring the blueprint for the space technology, spacecraft, and now you've seen two versions of it. It's for you to decide how you develop it, and in a coming time, very soon, some more of you should be able to show their flight system. We went through this elaborate position of teaching for past 2 years, 3 years, and step by step, that when it comes to this point, you bring all the knowledge together. Maybe this is an exercise for those of you who have graduated or are at the end terms, that you can bring your emotion, your things together as you were taught to control a system. We are on the verge of the man into space without fuel, and now is millions of you who listens, it's your time to try. Those of you who want to go to space, you have every opportunity, at least the base for building your systems. Very easy. If you were involved with the gas reactors, you can still partake. If you're involved in the small gas ball reactors, you still can partake in this. If you got involved at the stage of the coils, you can still partake, bring all your knowledge together, and you have your flight system.